Hello everybody and welcome back to the PokeStray YouTube channel. I'm Jordan Bamford and today we're going to be doing something never before done on this channel, and that is a real life game between myself and Scott from PokeStraya. Now this is just a friendly game, nothing too serious, so you might see us go on our phones or do something dumb. We're just messing around. This was a while back that this was recorded, probably close to a month ago. It was basically when Breakpoint had just been released and we were just testing new decks and just trying out the new format. So these are old games, so the decks probably aren't the same or anything. Now I was planning on doing a PTCGO video, but there's a maintenance going on at the moment. So I'm playing my Manectric Bats deck, Scott's playing his Trevenant Break deck. So here we go, Scott's going to draw first. He starts Phantom, I start Manectric, which is my ideal starter and his ideal starter. Ideally Scott would like to get the first turn Wally, and there we see the Wally, and he's going to play it. Item locking me first turn is very strong, and this is where Trevenant is at its best. Being able to item lock your opponent first turn is an incredible ability, and is definitely hard to get out of if I don't have anything. So we're going to see the Ultra Ball getting rid of the Cassius and the Psychic. Now Scott's list has changed. He no longer plays a Cassius. It was just something he was trying out. Didn't really work out for him, so he decided to get rid of it. I think his idea was to prevent Shamans from looping it or something. I'm not too sure what the idea with Cassius was. I assume it was to heal the Trevenant. He no longer plays it, however, so we're going to see the Shaman from Scott. So I think he's drawing 4 cards off of this. Yep, for 4. And we see... Now we can't see it on the camera what he's drawing. Psychic, Double Colors, Battle Compressor, and a Floatstone, I think, were the 4 cards he drew, which wasn't great because he doesn't have a supporter in hand. He's got the energy to attack, but past that he doesn't have too much. I don't think I have much going for myself. I think I see a Sycamore in my hand, so I'll probably just end up doing that. We're going to see the Lightning onto the Manectric. And as I said, these games were from a month ago, so I haven't seen them in that long. It's been a while since I've seen them, and I am just going to Sycamore, getting rid of my hand. I think there's a Golbat, Headringer, Muscle Band. I think there was a Faded Town, stuff like that. And I just see my first 4 cards were all bats. And then an AZ in the Dark Energy. Now this is my Manectric build, which played the Absol. So I play the 1 Dark Energy, just in case of the Absol attack. And that's not too bad against Trevenant. It can knock out Trevenant in 2 shots. It does 30 damage. However, I'm just going to overrun here, doing 20 to the active and 20 to the bench. So you see Double Colors come down onto the Trevenant. I don't think Scott's got anything else past that, so this could be a very quick game if I'm able to get some things going. We're going to see the hit for 60. If Scott can't draw into anything soon, then we're going to be in the advantage here. I'm going to draw into a Lightning, which is great. Means I can save the Dark for the Absol, and I forgot that Tree Slam did 20 to the bench. And then I'm going to use Manectric's Assault Laser attack to do 60 damage to Trevenant. Scott draws into the Delinquent. There's no Stadium in play, so that's really useless. I think those must be 3 Crobats in hand, because I didn't evolve, so that's really unfortunate for me, that I drew into 3 Crobats and not even a single Golbat or another Zubat would have even been nice. But potentially, I'm going to knock out Trevenant next turn. If Scott can't get anything set up soon, then, well, he's not going to have much. That Shaman won't last long in front of Manectric, so hopefully Scott can draw into something here. What does he have? He's got the Floatstone. He could retreat into Shaman, and he's going to do that. Well, actually, I think he's debating what he does here. Now, it's probably the better move to go up into the Shaman, but that does also allow me to use my items. He obviously doesn't know what I have in hand. If he knew what I had, maybe he would have done something a bit different there. So I'm going to draw into a Zubat, and I'm going to actually AZ this bench one, just prevent it from getting knocked out. Even though he's going to get knocked out here, he could still have perhaps Lysandred and Sky Returned or something. He could have... I don't know, you never really know with this deck, and he does draw into a VS Seeker, so that's potential to be something good. And he's got the Battle Compressor in hand, meaning he can get rid of like a Sycamore or some sort, so he's going to VS Seeker here. I think he's just realized that he doesn't have the supporter he wanted in there, so Yeah, he's going to take it back. I allow him in the circumstances. This is only a friendly game, so we're pretty lenient on the rules here, allowing things that, maybe in a tournament you wouldn't accept, maybe. So we're going to see the battle compressor for the Judge, the Sycamore, and a Lysander. So battle compressor in Trevenant is just to allow you to get out the Wally and things like that through VS Seeker. So we are going to see a Judge here. So Scott's really risking it. If he doesn't draw into a basic, he loses it, and drawing off of 4 cards can sometimes be risky. I'm in a pretty good position right now. If Scott doesn't draw into anything, then I win. It'll just either be a Sky Return for 30, or I can Assault Laser next turn for 60. Alrighty, so we're just going to shuffle up here from the Judge and cut each other's decks. Alrighty. Sorry for the camera wobbling here. And first 2 cards I see are 2 Shamans. So I'm in a pretty good position. And Scott scoops. He doesn't have anything. He didn't draw the Pokemon. Maybe he should have gone for the Sycamore. And I think he had 2 Trevenant's Prize there, which is not great. So I take game 1. This is a best of 3 series. So we will be playing all 3 games out. So I'm currently at 1 win. Scott's at none. Alright, so we're just going to shuffle up. I'll probably just speed through this part, just to make it a bit quicker. Just cut out all the shuffling. It actually went for quite some time, which is something that Scott and I tend to do quite a bit, especially in our games. We kind of get a bit distracted and forget what we're doing, and I tend to do it quite often. So we're going to see a mulligan from Scott here. And that's his second time his mulligan, that's why I put the 2 on there. I forgot to put the 1. Just put the dice on top of the deck to signify that there's been a mulligan. So Scott's going to shuffle back in his hand and draw a fresh 7. Hopefully he can draw a basic. So Scott will have elected to go first in this match. So he lost the previous game. He gets the choice of first or second. So with Trevenant, you really want to get first turn Wally. So he's going to go first, just to try and item lock me from the get-go. And I don't think my hand or starting is very good in this game. So, from memory anyway. So we'll see what happens here. We're going to see Scott, and I don't think he's drawn... he drew a Phantom, I think. Phantom. Alright, so I'm going to draw my 2 from the mulligan. We see a Zubat and a Shaman, which is kind of useless because my hand's pretty full. So I'm going to start double Manectric and a Zubat. So maybe my start isn't horrible. If I can get something going, maybe. I've got the 1 energy in hand, but that's about it. So we're going to see the battle compressor here for the Judge, Cassius, and maybe a Wally just to go for the VS Seeker Wally. He could also Judge me. That would probably hurt as well. I think Wally, though, is what he would like to go for. We're going to see the Ultra Ball here. So we see his Shaman in hand, so he's probably just going to use this to kind of lower his hand down a bit. Now, he doesn't have the VS Seeker in hand, so he's really hoping to draw into that or another Wally. So we're going to see the Ultra Ball for another Phantom, because he does have the Shaman in hand, so he doesn't really need to get out anything other than these Phantoms at this point. So he's had a bit of a better start, Scott. Just being able to get more than the 1 Phantom down. He'll probably get first on Trevenant. He'll have a much better start than he previously did. So, Phantom goes to bench. He's got the double colors and a Floatstone in hand, so will he play them? He's going to keep the Floatstone in hand, probably just in case I try and Lysander around it. And I think I saw the VS Seeker. So, yep, VS Seeker for the Wally, most likely. Yep. And here comes first turn Trevenant. So now I've really got to try and play around this, get something going on my side of the field, spread some damage. Unfortunately, Manectric isn't hitting for all that much on a Trevenant break. If he's able to break evolve, I'll have 160 HP. I can't attach Muscle Band. If he doesn't attach a tool card, then I won't be hitting for as much damage as I'd like. I think it'd be like 3-shotting. So here we go. I'm just going to attach the Lightning, and I've got nothing else. I'm just going to Overrun. I think I could Shaman for 1. I don't think it's worth it. Although, yeah, I'm debating it at this point whether I Shaman. I think I'm just gonna, yeah, I'll just go for the overrun here. I kind of regret doing that. I think Shaman probably would have been better there. Though it would have only been drawing one, I would have been able to thin through my deck just a bit more, which would have been nice. So you see the VS Seeker in Scott's hand, a Floatstone. He does need the energy. So he's got the Judge in there, so he'll probably get that back. Now that could either help or hurt me, depending on what I draw. I need to draw into some more bats to spread some damage. So we're going to see the Ultra Bowl here. Maybe he'll take another Shaman, so we're going to see the Delinquent and the Trevenant get dropped. Or he could potentially take Trevenant Break. He's going to take the Shaman instead, however. Alright, so we're going to see a Shaman for 4 again. Depends if he plays any of the cards. So we're going to see the Floatstone down on that Shaman on the bench. And a Shaman to draw 5 cards here. So he's looking for the break, as well as maybe a supporter would be nice. And that energy was definitely what he wanted. And he gets another Phantom. So Scott really just got everything he wanted. If he can get it into the break, that would be even better. And we're going to see the Ultra Ball, so he potentially could get the break this turn, which would really put me in a bad position. He does have VS Seeker in hand as well, so he could get back the Judge and play that. I think he's got 2 VS Seekers in hand. He's got one of the old school ones, and then from what I can see, yeah, there's 2 VS Seekers. So we're going to VS Seeker here. He could even take Wally and get out the break. Looks like he's going for the Judge, however. He's going to take the Judge, and he's going to play the Judge. Alrighty, so we both shuffle in and draw 4. So right now I'd really be hoping to draw at least an energy. I'd prefer to draw something like a Sycamore, just so I could get a fresh hand of 7. That would be nice. Maybe even some more bats would help me a lot. They're going to go a long way. If we see a break from Scott, that'll boost Trevenant's HP up to 160. So Manectric, with a tool card attached to the Trevenant, I'd be hitting for 120, which still wouldn't be enough to knock out that Trevenant. So I'm really going to need to draw into some good stuff here. Off this Judge for 4. Alright, so we're drawing 4 cards. We see Ultra Ball, which I can't play, Enhanced Hammer, VS Seeker, and a Crobat. None of those cards I can play. Scott gets the break as well. So Scott got everything he wanted. I got none of the stuff that I needed. So there we go. We're going to see the Silent Fear here for 30 everywhere. And I draw a Head Ringer. I can't do anything. Zubat's going to get knocked out. So I can just overrun for 20 and 20 spread. I've got nothing in hand whatsoever to help me. So this is all I can do. Eventually everything's going to get knocked out from that Trevenant. Now what Scott can actually do here is Tree Slam to hit 60 onto the active, 20 onto the 2 bench, which will still knock out the Zubat. Or he could Silent Fear and get more onto the bench Manectric. And we're going to see the Tree Slam here for 60 and then putting 20 onto the 2 bench, which is enough to knock out the Zubat. And I do draw into the Sycamore, which is one of the cards I needed. And I think I got the... yeah, I got the Absol as well. If I can see an Energy would have been so helpful, but I missed it. I debate putting Absol. Maybe I can lower my hand enough to play that Shaman. So we're going to Absol. I'm going to move 3 damage up onto the Trevenant in the active position. And Shaman for 1. Is it an Energy? No, it's not. So I can just do 20 and 20 again. So even if I am able to knock out this Trevenant next turn. So we're just figuring out the maths here. Scott put it onto 4, but it should only be on 3 damage counters. I moved 3 damage counters off that bench one to put it onto the active, so there'd be 1 damage counter on it, and Overrun does 20 to the bench, not 30, so just clearing that up. I think that's a Wally. Wally to get the Trevenant down. So now he's got 3 Trevenants set up, which is going to be very difficult for me to get around. I didn't play any double colors in here, so I can't just loop my Shamans. Also, I just want to point out that that Shaman on my bench is actually a World Championship promo. I now have 4 Shamans. At this point, I had 3 Shamans, and we had a couple of testing buddies over, so one of them was borrowing some Shamans, so I had to proxy these with some World Championship ones from the World Championship decks. That's why it's not holographic or, you know, shiny or anything. Just sort of point that out. It's a nice looking proxy, which is a good thing, and I'm just going to Sycamore here, discarding my hand filled with items, and I really need an energy. There's an energy, but even still, I don't even think that helps me too much. I actually might even consider using Overrun, but I think, because I don't even take a prize card here, a Shaman for 1, so Overrun is not a knockout. Not Overrun. Assault Laser is not a knockout. Maybe I should have put that energy onto the bench, but I'm just going to attack the active for 60. Maybe I can Overrun next turn, get the knockout, and 20 onto a bench. But I really don't have much in my hand. I've really exhausted all my resources. Unfortunately, being on the item lock when you're playing a deck like mine can kind of suck when you really just dead draw for the vast majority of the game. Even when I drew my first Sycamore, I Sycamored into a hand filled with items, which sucks, because I can't play them. I don't play Hex in this deck. I do play Lysander to get around it, but I don't even think then that's good enough. So we're going to see the Silent Fear here, putting 30 onto everything, which is enough to knock out that active Manectric. Scott goes down to 3 prize cards, and I'm in a bit of strife here. Shaman's pretty close to being knocked out. Got a Manectric up, which is pretty close to being knocked out. And I draw into the Lysander, so I could Lysander something here and try and play my items. And that's maybe my best bet. Or I've got the Judge. The problem with the Judge, if I don't draw into the energy I need, then I'm in trouble. So I'm going to Lysander here, bring up a Shaman without the Floatstone, just so he can't free retreat it. And this is one of the problems with break Pokemon. As you can see, Scott is struggling to fit it onto his bench. I'm going to Trainer's Mail here. I see the Scoop Up, which is great. Not only can I reuse a Shaman potentially, but I'm also going to be able to heal one of my Pokemon, which is fantastic. Or I could also potentially pick up the Absol and move the 30 from that bench Trevenant onto the one with a lot of damage and get the knockout there. I don't think that's the right move to do, however. So we're just going to go the Scoop Up. We fail it anyway, so yeah, I was really reliant on something like that working. I don't have much else in my hand now. Maybe I should have judged. We're going to go Muscle Band and VS Seeker. I'm just going to grab back the Sycamore probably. And I regret placing the energy on the Manectric. There's a lot of misplays in this game in particular where I should have done things that I didn't. So I just have to pass on to Scott's turn. Now he could potentially win it next turn, or no, he can't win it this turn. But definitely on his next turn he can. So he's going to VS Seeker for the Cassius. So we're actually going to see it come into play. He's going to shuffle back in that Shaman, allowing him to put up a Trevenant Break, going into the one with the less damage, so it's less likely to be knocked out. I don't honestly think it would have mattered either way. Just looking at my bench, there's nothing great going for me. He's got a Bursting Balloon in hand as well, so he's going to play that. Alright, so what are we going to see? Probably just a Silent Fear. He could get the energy, go for the 60. I don't think that matters. Honestly, Silent Fear is the best option because that puts 2 Shamans on the bench in prize. You know, he could take his prize cards on those Shamans. And that's probably what we're going to see. So if he does 30 to everything, he'll be able to put up those Shamans to 80 and 90 respectively. And then next turn, if he Silent Fears again, he can get the knockout. So yeah, we are going to see the Silent Fear, bumping everything up by 30. And do I draw into anything of use right now? I'm just going to go for the Sycamore. We see the Zubat. It's a bit too late for that. I do draw into the energy. I don't even know what I was looking at getting here. I think I've pretty much lost this game. I could just attack. I don't think it matters. I'm going to get knocked out if I attack. I'm debating it just because, I don't know, just to do it. Take a prize card. And I am going to attack, taking one prize card off of that benched Trevenant Break and also knocking myself out. Now Scott wins the game, just because of those bench Shamans. So yeah, at this point I think I didn't realize that my Shaman was just going to get knocked out. But it's game at this point, yeah. So we actually went for the handshake. As you can see, Scott's hands still sitting there on camera. We thought that was the third game. So obviously at the end of a game, it's sportsmanlike to shake your opponent's hand after the game. So we went to do it then. However, we realized we still had one more game to play. So here we go into the final round. Once again, I'll just skip through the shuffling. So I'll see you for the final round because I see a Zubat in my opening. I'll be going first. I was allowed the choice of first or second. Honestly, against Trevenant, you really just want to go first, just so you can get something going. One interesting thing to note at this point, Scott didn't have the Ascension Trevenants. He was using the Astonish one. It wasn't really a personal choice or anything. It was just that he didn't have any of the Ascension one. So even if he gets his Psychic Energy down, he's not going to be able to Ascension. So he's really just going for the Wally to get the first turn Trevenant set up. I'm gonna Ultra Ball. I could take either a Shaman or I think the better thing to take here was the Manectric. I've got the VS Seeker in hand, so I can either get back the Judge or the Sycamore. And I'm debating the Judge just to put Scott really down to 4 cards first turn. Can suck for a lot of decks. He might not be able to draw out of it, so maybe that's an option. Or I could just Sycamore, hope I draw into a bunch of things. So I'm going to go the Lightning, Super Scoop Up, it's head, so I pick up that Zubat, and then I VS Seeker. I am going for Sycamore. I think that was the wrong move there. I should have got the Judge back. Alright, so I am drawing 7, however, so I'm going to be potentially being able to draw into some more bats, which is great. Bats are really helpful in this matchup. I'm going to Ultra Ball away a AZ and the Headringer. I keep the Faded Town in hand just to bounce any Dimension Valleys that come down. So I'm going to be taking probably a Manectric, maybe a Shaman, yeah. Going for the Shaman here just to draw more cards through my deck. I kind of regret that decision as well, just because I have a VS Seeker in hand. There's no real need for me to grab the Shaman. I think in talking, Scott did not seem very happy with his hand. I also played the Faded Town, so I think I misplayed this entire turn, well, that portion of the turn. However, I do draw into a Golbat, so maybe it's not too bad. I'm going to Trainer's Mail. I could take VS Seeker, but I think I'll keep it in deck. I've got 1 in hand. I've also got the Sycamore in hand. So I think I'll probably just end it at that. I don't think there's too much left in my hand to do at this point. I could go for the Super Scoop Up, and maybe I will just in case Trevenant comes down. I may as well play my items out. I just pass. I didn't want a VS Seeker. I've got the Sycamore in hand. I don't need to. Alright, so Scott hand. Well, from what I can see from Scott's hand, it's not the best. So alright. I don't think he's got too much going for him. Psychic Energy going down. I don't think he's got a support or anything. He's just going to use Astonish. I guess to remind me what that does. I've got no clue. He gets to choose a card from my hand and discard it. No, it gets shuffled back into deck. And I think the card was either Sycamore or VS Seeker, but it could have been the Golbat. I think it actually was Golbat because I said something like, "Oh, that would have made me win next turn." Something like that. Yeah, it was the Golbat. So it was actually the one card I wish wasn't shuffled back in. Any of those other three I would have been fine with, just because I could VS Seeker for the Sycamore. I could, it doesn't matter if I don't get the Golbat. So I'm looking now to draw into just the energy, and I do draw into it. So I'll be able to Assault Laser for 60, and that's the game. Scott couldn't get anything in his one turn. Ultra Ball is his next card as well. So there it is. That was Manectric Bats versus Trevenant Break. I was on the left playing the Manectric Bats deck. Scott was on the right playing Trevenant. I won the best of 3 series. That last game, Scott just dead drew. I'm not too sure what was in his hand. He might show us here. I actually don't know if he showed it or not. I wasn't paying attention too much. And we just made a little joke there about the throwing of the hand. That's a reference. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoy seeing these live, or not live, but real live games of us guys playing, then be sure to let me know. Comment below, subscribe to the channel, and just like the video. That'll let me know that you want to see more of this kind of video, and I'll try my best to produce more. I've actually got quite a few of these videos recorded. I just haven't been bothered to commentate over them and edit them and everything. So maybe if you guys enjoy it, I'll do it. Regionals is coming up, I think, in 2 days. So I've got tomorrow, which is Thursday. So I'll record a video on Thursday and have it up on Friday morning. And then past that, I don't think I'll be uploading. Maybe Scott or someone else can upload something to the channel so there isn't just 4 days of nothing. But if not, I apologize in advance for that. As I said earlier, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to do all that stuff I mentioned earlier as well. And I'll see you in the next video.